Hi guys, welcome to Learn Electronics Repair. This is the Denon speaker, the Bluetooth speaker. We looked at this very recently. So I basically found a short circuit chip from here, which I presumed was probably some sort of buck converter. I couldn't find the datasheet, I had trouble reading the number. It looks like it's got a little burn hole in it, or mark anyway. So I published the video. The good news is, of course, that when I removed the chip, the short circuits went away. The even better news is, of course, some of you guys knew what the chip was. So the chip is actually the battery charger and effectively power supply chip. I'll show you the data sheet, you can see what I mean. So this is the chip I couldn't read. It is BQ24172. I thought it was B0 or BO. You guys very quickly worked out what it actually is. So highly integrated standalone lithium ion and lithium polymer switch mode battery charger with 2 integrated MOSFETs. Okay, we see the pinout. This matches the chip I have, and also I figured out that the inductor coil was connected here, and this has switching node, okay, to the current output inductor connection. So it definitely matches what I have, and there are a few different typical applications depending on what you're trying to do with this chip. So this one says 12 volt input, which is what I have, or 13 volt, 2 cell batteries. This is probably very similar to the application that's used on my Denon speaker. Okay, 3 battery, single cell again. So I would suspect that we're going to have something maybe not exactly the same as this, but very similar. So you have effectively your 12 volt supply, a couple of MOSFETs here. This is similar to what you would have on the input of a laptop, basically. This going to system, so that's the load, if you like, the device that you were running. The battery is here. I could see this diode, this red short across it, basically, but once I removed the chip, it wasn't short. Inductor coil, the battery connects here. So I should be able to, as some viewers suggested, power this device up by effectively putting power in here, okay, and then see if the speaker actually works. The voltage I would apply here, well, I would go for whatever the battery voltage would be, to be quite honest. Okay, 8.4 volts probably. And we can actually test to see if the actual device works. If it works, I'm happy to order another chip, because all the short circuits seem to go away once I removed the original one. Okay, the other question though is, what state are the batteries in? So let's have a look at those. So this is the battery pack. We can see there are 3 connections, well there are 5 connections, but probably we find the 2 red and the 2 black are in parallel, maybe. We can measure the voltage across these though, so let's see what we actually have. Well, there's basically 0 there, 0 there, 0 there. So we just see 0 everywhere really. There's a white connection as well that also reads 0. Okay, so the battery appears to have no voltage at all coming out of it. I asked Detlef, he's my resident battery expert and friend, okay, and he tells me that they could be faulty batteries, or there could be a protection or management IC in here, and that's effectively protecting the battery so nothing's coming out. So let's get this opened up and let's see what's inside it and see if we can figure out whether these batteries are actually any good or not.
Okay, expert is here. Nothing can go wrong now.
Expert who's told me to do the unwrapping, by the way. Yeah. So
it feels like Christmas, you know.
Yeah. So
and you see, it's isolation on isolation.
Okay. Looks like the two black wires connect together here.
Yeah, they are.
So they're
yeah. I'm really interested if there's some BMS thing in there.
Okay, let's keep
Because
going.
this would be complete zero would mean something electronic has switched off there.
Well, we certainly know that
That's what I'm guessing.
controller or charger chip had short circuits.
Okay.
And when I removed the chip, the short circuits went away.
Oh, look at the little PCB. Yeah.
Oh, we have a little PCB. Okay, so...
This will be an overload under voltage protection thing.
Okay.
Did you try to inject some voltage into that?
No, I haven't tried that at all.
Okay, let's try this first. Let's give it a... What's this thing?
7.4 volt.
7.4 and cut the current at, don't know, 100 mil.
Okay, let's set that up on the power supply and we'll do it.
Okay, what we're going to try to put some current into that cell. See if it takes charge, you know?
Okay.
What we're doing, we're using the power supply that's somewhere over there on the screen over there.
Okay.
And we set it to 8.4 volts. Why 8.4 volts? We have two LiPo cells. LiPo cells will cut off at 4.2.
Okay,
So
when they're
two-
fully charged, yeah?
When they're fully charged. So two of them means 8.4.
Okay.
What we're doing, we are setting a current limit here.
Let's just do that. So
Let's do that. Indeed.
click onto here.
Short
Let's set the
circuit
color
eclipse. And the current limit goes to something like 100 mil.
I can set it exactly to 100 if you like, 110, yeah. 100 mil.
Yeah, this is very conservative, so normally you could push loads of current into that. But
So-
this is fine.
100 milliamps, okay?
Yeah. What we're going to do, the current will rise until it reaches 4.2 volt per cell, so
Yeah.
8.4. And then the voltage limiting will cut in and the current
Okay.
will drop. So,
Okay.
And we try this now. We see if the cell takes some current.
Okay,
Okay?
I'll just mention to you guys, by the way, these resistors are not being used as resistors. I just wanted some stiff bits of wire I could plug into there. So I'm
Which is a
actually,
clever way to do it.
yeah, clever way. So ready.
Oh, something happening. Yeah, very good. That's what I wanted to see, you know.
Okay.
See, the cell voltage now is 7 volts. So over both cells, we see 7 volts.
That's 3.5 in each one.
Yeah, something like that. 3.5 is very low. So probably the little board on here just had cut off the current there. So
Okay.
this is taking charge. See the 100 mil?
Yeah, I see it, yeah.
Yeah. So you can increase the current a bit. Go for, say, don't know, 500.
Up to 5.
Yeah, 5.5 amps.
Okay, so we're just increasing the current.
look at
and the
this.
voltage goes up
Yeah,
slightly.
the voltage goes up. This is what I wanted to see.
So,
Let's push some current into there and see what the voltage does.
500 milliamps.
Yeah, very good. Okay, half an amp. So this should be fine because you do this with every LiPo cell. 500 mil always works.
Okay. And then we
So-
just need to leave them. So should this current eventually drop down as the...
Yeah. As soon as we reach the 8.4, which would be cutoff voltage for charging these cells, everything above this would overcharge them.
Okay.
And after that, if we go into the voltage will come in and say, okay, I can't push more voltage.
Yeah.
And then the current will go down.
Exactly. So the power supply is set to 8.4. So it's the current limit at the moment which is keeping the voltage lower. So as the current starts to drop, this will climb up towards 8.4. So really it's just a matter now leaving these sitting on one side and charge them.
You know, for your Denon, this is a good thing because you can check these with the Denon after that because now we know there's charge in the cell.
Actually, I can't check them on the Denon at the moment because the IC, which was there, you see the IC missing. This is effectively the battery charger circuit, which also connects the battery back into the device. But what I can do, I can connect to the output. I'll figure out, just trace it through where the output of this is and inject into their 8.4 volts and power the device up for my bench power supply.
Well, if it generates all the voltages for the whole thing, you probably can't.
It doesn't. Let me show you on the data sheet,
Okay.
Detlef. So if we just go to the data sheet, here's the data sheet. So you can see 12 volt adapter. This is like the two diodes, like you find on the input of a laptop. Power coming in. This is the switching node. This is effectively the little buck converter that charges the battery. And then the battery drives the system here. But also you see when these MOSFETs are on, this actually just goes straight through. So I'm guessing the system, which is a load, could run anywhere between 12 and 8.4.
Yeah, so
Yeah, like a laptop can run off 19 or 14 from the batteries.
Yeah, if you go for PVCC, you probably can inject 7 volt in there.
Yeah, exactly. That's
And
what
see
I had
what
in mind.
happens.
Yeah, so whatever the battery voltage would be, stick it in there and see what happens.
After Q3, so the
Yes.
MOSFET over there, you don't need that. Yeah, that would work.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll get these batteries charged and then let's try that. Okay, so I've taken lunch, and while I've done that, I left the battery on charge. So it's gone to 8.4 volts now. The current is dropping by itself. So this was 1 amp. It's now down to, in fact, it's just dropped again, 760 milliamps. Okay, so that's charged just fine, or just completing the charge. Now let's see where we need to inject the voltage. So we have this pin, PVCC, okay, which effectively goes to the system. And then we have the battery also goes through this MOSFET. The system, you can see this is an active low battery drive, so this effectively will switch to battery. You can see there, okay, by putting a low on the gate. That's a P-channel MOSFET. So we need to put the supply voltage this side of the MOSFET, and that brings us back here to PVCC, which on our chip, PVCC, charger input voltage, okay, and we can see it's the top 2 pins here. So this is pin 1, so 2 and 3 there, okay. We also see we have ground, which is underneath the chip. In fact, we have A ground and P ground. P ground is power ground, A ground is the exposed part, okay. They probably actually connect to each other anyway. So this is PVCC, okay, that's where we're going to inject the voltage, which actually connects to the capacitor there and there. And does it also go to here? No, it doesn't go to there, okay. So it goes to those points, so that means we can easily solder onto there, okay. Ground, well, that's the A ground. These are P ground, which are all connected to each other. So if we connect between ground and one of these capacitors, or just solder to the pad there, that's where the power can go in. And the voltage could be anywhere between the battery voltage, which is what I am going to use, 8.4 volts, or the supply voltage, 12, okay. So actually, yeah, let's just put 7.5 or 8 volts on there. That's the voltage of the batteries, okay. Then let's see if this works. Okay, so I've soldered some wires on. I'm just connecting to the green wire here. Okay, I'm on the green wire, and we can see we have a connection to here, and there's no short to ground. Okay, so let's put this back together. Let's power it up. We can see while I've been connecting that back up, power is now down to 300 milliamps, so that battery is definitely charging okay. Let's now try power the speaker up from the power supply. Let's see what it actually does. I still have about 1 amp on the current limiter, but let's just see. Well, it's drawing 0. Is there an on-off switch on this? No, I don't see one. What do we have going into it? Should be there. Yeah, 8 volts. Okay. Let's look on the other buck converter here. So I see one here. These are the outputs of the Class D amplifiers we can see there. Okay, there's another one here. Right. So we know where ground is. Here. That's not running. This one. Is also not running. Let's have a bit of a look around, see if we can see any voltages anywhere. No. No. No, so for some reason the power doesn't really seem to be getting any further than where I've connected it. I know this is ground. Yeah, so definitely power getting in, and it's drawing no current either. Okay, so it could be that this is drawing some power. It's just effectively in standby and it's drawing less than 10 milliamps, so I can't see it on my bench power supply. So I have my clamp meter here. I could also just use the multimeter, to be honest, but let's have a look. So I'm just going to zero the clamp meter. Okay, so let's see. I'm just going to plug the red power lead in. What happens? Well, it is actually drawing a little bit of power. You can see 0.1, about 13 milliamps. Zero again. Something at least happens. Okay, I've had a look. No, there are no schematics for this, at least none that I can find. So, we know it's probably in standby. It's a bit hard to say exactly. It does draw a very small amount of current. Doesn't seem to do anything when you press the button. Could have other issues. Could just be possibly just because the chip isn't fitted, that some sort of power good or some other sort of signal needs to be present before it will actually power up. So I had a look on AliExpress. These are the chips, so BQ24172. Okay, I can buy them. Well, this is for 5 of them with a bit of postage. I can also buy them in ones. I'd probably say get a pack of 5 because these are the sort of thing you probably want anyway in stock. Now I know about them, yeah. So I think I'll actually get a pack of 5 of these. I'm interested to see, as much I guess for my own education and maybe yours, if this thing will actually work with the chip fitted. But I don't see any point in actually investigating any further without the chip fitted, if you see what I mean. So I'll get some of those ordered and then we'll see this again and let's have a look, see if it works. It's taken about 10 days or so at the moment for things to arrive from China. So hopefully these will be here at around that time. Okay, if you want to talk about it some more, down there, let me know. Any other thoughts? I can always get us back on the bench. Otherwise, yeah, shall we just wait until the part arrives and see what happens? Hope you enjoyed that and I look forward to seeing you all soon again on Learning Electronics Repair. Ciao for now, guys.